So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a variable called the name. I'm going to go back to using our prompt again, just this one time. I would say enter in a name. So asking the user for a name. And we're going to see if person1 or person2 matches that name. So we're going to create a function. And we'll do find name. And we'll pass in a name, object1, and object2. I'm doing this because I'm going to show you that even though this says the name and this says a name, it'll still work. I could just pass this in, just the same way if person1, I can pass this in as object1, and person2 as object2. Okay, so I'm going to have a result. I'm going to call it match. And we don't know if we're going to have a match, so I'm going to set it to null. So here's where null comes into play. So now I want to find out if the first object contains that name. So I'm going to do if bj1 dot. You can see first name is there. First name. Remember, double equals for comparison. And I'm going to see if it's the name that's passed in called a name. If it is, now I found my match. So I can say match equals obj1. Now if I didn't, well, let's see if the other one is. So we could do else if obj2 dot, and we'll go to first name again, equals a name. So we found it there maybe. And then we can say match equals obj2. And finally, we're going to want to return the match. So I'll put at the end, return match. So if we enter a name of Bob, it's going to match the first one. If you enter a name of Joe, it's going to match the second one. And if it doesn't match any of those, it's going to still be null. So we're going to call that function. And call it result equals find name and the name. And object1 is person1, object2 is person2. So now what we're going to do is we're going to say if result is not null. In other words, we found something. We found an object that matches a person object. We can say alert found plus the name. So we found Bob, for example. Now, if it is null, then obviously we did not find the name. So we can do another alert. Did not find the name. And put a semicolon at the end of that. And we'll save that. Okay, let's try all this stuff out. So I'm going to refresh here into the name, do Bob. Bob is the first one. And it found Bob. Now I'm going to do it again. Joe, who is the second one, and I found Joe. Now I'm going to type a name that doesn't exist. Let's say Bill. Did not find Bill. So there we go. So that covers null. So basically, it could potentially be an object, but we don't know if it will or not. And if it is, then we'll set it to the object. So that's what null is typically used for. And we even covered what undefined is. When we tried to print first name with a lowercase n, it said, well, that property does not exist in the person object, and it gave us an undefined.